Salute guys, that's out one. Humorous the way, humorous the way, humorous the way. Back with another public service announcement. Back with another public service announcement. Hi, Jason. Hope you guys are feeling good this morning. Salute guys, that's out one. Humorous the way. Back with another episode of the PSA podcast. Myself, Mr. Maya, Dr. Riaad Moosa. How you doing this morning, brother?
Thank you for introducing me with the
Riaad
title
Moosa.
Doctor.
I had to.
Thank you.
Yes.
You know, at
I was
least.
like, fun comedian all the way from, I'm
Yes.
going to eat with a doctor.
You know, because a lot of people even go,
Yes.
he's a medical doctor. Please
medical
welcome, Mr. Like, I'm like, what? You
Who's
got
a doctor?
confused
Like, I
now.
mean, yes.
You just introduced me as a doctor.
Yeah.
But I usually say doctor like this because
Why? What's the
I don't
one?
remember anything.
Is it? How long
Yeah.
was that then?
20 years, brah.
20 years ago.
Yes. Quite the time.
Okay, but
you
I mean,
know?
you still
My
got the doctor.
father, I still use it
There's the
for
title.
marketing.
Does it
too.
work?
It does.
Okay.
I do a lot of pharmaceutical events and people like assume I know how to talk doctor,
Okay.
right? But I also know how to talk human being. So,
Listen, so are there like doctor terms that like only doctors wouldn't understand?
you know how
Like,
doctors
what do
are
you call it, like for
jargon.
jargon?
Yeah.
Before like lawyers, what's it? Legalese?
Yes.
What for doctors? Is another word for it?
I don't
Dr.
know.
Knees, I don't know.
Dr. Knees,
I
yeah.
don't know. They
You
should
know,
be
just
somewhat-
things to confuse a person.
Yes.
Yeah, essentially. So they get confused that like the medical aid amount and the
Okay.
premium.
Are you
is-
currently on medical aid?
I'm trying to get medical aid to pay for my comedy shows, but no, it's not going to
working.
work. Yeah.
Listen, before we even get anything, I'm a fan of your work for a very long time.
Thank you, brother.
I've watched so many of the stand-ups, the movies, the material movies as well.
you.
You've done your rounds, bro. You've been around here. So we have to
The
now start-
Grays show, the
I
Grays.
saw a little of the boring stuff, but I say boring stuff because I feel like everyone asks us questions already. So like, where did it all start for you, man? Like, yeah, we
Where
have
else
to
start?
that one. Like, where did it start, the comedy for you?
Kasam. You know, I think me getting involved with comedy came from my grandfather.
From your Opa?
Yeah,
Okay.
my Opa was a joke teller. The classic Opa joke teller who used to captivate. So naturally sort of funny, naturally extroverted,
Okay.
always left with a joke.
So you spend lots of time with Paul.
Yes. So the interesting thing with me is I'm a quiet person.
Uh-huh.
Right? So on stage, I transform.
Okay.
Right,
You're
but
still a quiet person.
I'm a natural
Okay.
introvert,
Okay.
which means I don't get energy from people, right? I get drained by social interactions,
Same.
right? No, brah.
Same.
Like, but then you hide it. You know?
Same.
No, you got the extrovert laugh also, bro.
Listen.
No, brah. Like, I challenge you on that. Anyways,
I think it's about adaptability. I'm like,
Yes.
I'm gonna be like, but some days you don't listen.
yes.
Some
But
days you don't
no,
listen.
but then do you get energy from social settings or do you get drained?
I get drained.
Okay, so that's interesting because true extroverts, they get drained from being alone.
No, I actually love
and they-
being alone.
Yes, so then you
you
are
ask me.
maybe.
Like, if I have to be out with people, like, okay, I'm gonna do this now. I'm
Yes,
supposed to.
you have to be on. You must be
no, I think
you
like-
must be Mr. Mayor.
You understand, but I think it's
Right.
over the years. It's one of those things, like, when you're young and you just started like a skaklicker, like, yo,
Yes.
there's people everywhere, and I'm
Right.
feeding off it, and then after,
Right.
it's like, it's people. Yeah.
Right.
Like, how long do we have to be here? My agent, like, we have
Yeah.
to be like 20 minutes, 2 photos. Okay, guys, I'm gonna see you. Everyone,
Yes.
one. Thank God. It's
Why so serious, Mr.
what I mean?
Mayor? Why are
Ah.
you so serious? You're walking through
like,
KC.
do people expect
Why
you to
are
make
you so
jokes?
serious?
Do people expect me to make jokes all the time? Be funny.
My wife. Must I be walking around?
But what?
You know, happy all the time.
Do people ask comedians like,
Like,
be funny then,
no,
make a joke?
but you see, comedians are generally like weird people
Yes.
off stage. Generally.
Okay.
This is a common thing, more common than people know. Because we take jokes seriously. Do you understand that?
I get it.
Bruh.
I get it.
Right? A thing that's supposed to create mirth and relaxation in people, we sometimes torment it over.
Okay, give me an
So
example.
what
of
do
this.
we have?
Give me an example.
No, just jokes. Like, so if you have to create something that's humorous, like we were talking about stand-up comedy with this other comedian, Amar Rahman, and a very brilliant comedian, but very deep individual. So he uses jokes in order to, and to a certain extent, I do it as well, in order to maintain a playfulness.
Okay.
And if I weren't to do that, I would actually be a much more depressed and morose and sad person.
I got you. I got
Right?
you. Yes.
So my nature is that of there's a sadness, there's a melancholy. And then I use humor as a tool,
So it's a coping mechanism.
as a coping mechanism.
Yes.
For some reason, and to a certain extent, even a drug. You go on stage, right, and must be aware of, you get instant response. It's one of those performance art forms where you know immediately if you're doing well or not. Right?
Is that people's relatability to whatever it
No,
is that
just
you bring up?
because it's a laugh.
Yes.
It's a laugh. No other, even a musician, sometimes at the end, people clap for you.
Yes.
And you can disguise a death on stage.
Okay.
Or not doing as well.
Yes, I
But
got you.
comedy is obvious. Everybody has a bad day at work. Everybody.
So, I mean,
but with us, you know.
You know, same time.
It's clear.
When last have you died on stage?
I didn't
By the
want to
way.
bring this up.
By the way.
Right?
When last-
As an experienced comedian, I thought this,
It doesn't happen anymore.
happen anymore.
Okay.
Okay, maybe the audience is a bit pop or,
Depending where they're from
no,
also.
I don't
Does
perform
demographics-
as well.
Does demographics play a bigger role?
Yes, definitely.
Like
but
where I'm at, doesn't
yes, where you are. But when you have experience, you kind of know what to do for different audiences.
Yeah, you
right?
can't drop the Palestine joke in Israel.
Right. No, you would never do that. Bro.
You know what I mean?
You know.
Yes.
Right. Right. They'll shoot you or something. Right. We would never be there in
In any case, I mean,
Right?
yeah, just to make it clear.
But you're getting my point.
Yes.
But I know that I've done this for a very long time, and I generally know what to do. But now, just 2 weeks ago, bruh, the worst death of my life.
Was this here
I'm
locally?
an
Was it
experienced
locally?
comedian. I'm an experienced comedian.
Yes.
And I died at a corporate event, and it was a real death, like
For
a
real.
death. And I've never performed as badly. You know, I don't mind if the audience is not good. Sometimes they,
Yes, fun.
I do a lot of Joburg, Durban, Indian events.
Okay.
So they generally not the most expressive, exuberant people, but they enjoyed Riaad. There was a great show.
Oh, I loved it.
I
Very
loved
funny.
the show. You know, I loved it so
Very
much.
funny.
I almost laughed. You know, it's so,
I almost.
so good. You know, like,
Yes.
I do a lot of that. So I
That's
know
how you
they
understand
enjoyed
the
it.
kind of- yes.
They did. The issue was I performed badly. And where did I perform badly? There's a place called, an event called the Super Sport Shootout.
Okay.
Where they have all the legends of South African sport.
Then
Rugby,
Okay.
cricket, soccer.
So are you the
Right?
host or you the
I'm the
comedian?
stand-up comedian. I've
Okay, you're
done
the
it
comedian
many
for that.
times before.
Okay.
Right? Many times. And I do well. This day, bruh, in front of the legends, Francois Pina, even the original,
Yes.
right, sitting there. Every single winner, champion was sitting,
sitting there. Okay.
Right? Death, bruh. Death. You know
What-
when
how long was-
halfway
how
through
long
a
was the
set,
set, though?
like 20 minutes.
20 minutes,
Right?
okay.
Half an hour. You know, when halfway through a set, you're thinking in your mind, must I fake an epileptic seizure
Just
right
so I
now?
can get through okay.
Just so I can get. I'm a doctor.
Yeah.
I generally know how to make it believable.
Yes.
And this is really going through my mind. The bride eventually didn't even take, I didn't even walk off stage of my own will. The MC had to take me off. Like he held me,
Yeah,
you know.
I think that's enough. Okay,
Bruh,
thank you.
Like really, bruh. He
Guys,
had to,
you know,
no,
catch my next
to-
show. Yeah.
Like take me off like a refugee, like
Yes.
almost like he put a blanket, one of those heavy blankets over my shoulder, give me a cup of soup. You know, sitting, at the end of a Bruce Willis film,
Yes.
there in the ambulance
At the
there,
corner, just,
after being through
"Are
a
you
traumatic
okay?"
thing.
Yeah.
That afterwards, Brian Abana came to hug me, hug me. Francois Pina put his arm over my shoulder, like I'm really, really.
That does happen.
My only consolation is a lot of those guys have traumatic brain injuries, right? And they will maybe forget. They got cauliflowers for ears. Maybe they didn't hear
I don't know
me.
if you that good of a comedian that was the joke or if this really happens. I don't know where.
No,
Oh, it really happened?
truth, the thing happened.
The thing happened.
This is the thing.
Okay.
And luckily, I'm saying now I have comedy to sort of like heal from it.
Okay, so you can still go through it like
So
that.
I can actually immediately
But now you can use that as the joke. because
use that
essentially that's
as
the
a joke
now.
and do stand up about it and write a routine about it. Right? Like even bad. I felt like a loser, a total loser. What a loser this guy is.
Little
Like
loser,
I
yeah.
felt like that.
Yes.
Like, and before the thing, I was sitting with the Springboks, right? Before.
Okay.
I couldn't go now sit. Like I even tried to go sit
Just
with
like afterwards, like
yeah, like I even go try to sit with Bafana. Maybe they would, but even they
didn't
didn't
want
want.
to. No,
Bruh, then you know, bruh.
yeah.
You know,
But listen, just
it was a terrible
how many years
experience.
you in the buzz now?
20 years, bro.
20 years in the buzz.
I would say. I think so.
Listen now, for another
20 years. Because I'm old now. I'm 46.
Yeah.
26. Yeah.
So now,
Easy.
so now you get young comedians now want to break into the industry. Like, if they want to be this guys, and the social medias must give like different platforms for people to do this. Do you think comedy is a viable way for people to survive?
Well, I don't understand that mentality because I don't come from that
No, I'm
mentality.
asking. That's what I'm
Because
asking. Some people assume.
I come from the mentality of there not being an industry.
Okay.
So I come from this idea that we just did comedy because this is a new thing. It was sort of either was at the cusp. Like my high school days was pre-94.
Yes.
University days, New South Africa.
Okay.
We have the vote. So we had tangible experience of the change. And we lived through a very sort of a euphoric time where there's lots of possibilities. Like my high school was colored people. SP, you
Oh,
know.
SP, okay.
I went to SP. Like, I mean,
Okay.
it was just so-called colored experience.
South Peninsula,
And
we
then
know this,
university, all of a sudden, everybody's together suddenly. All of a sudden.
Everyone.
Right? And all of a sudden also you're performing on stages with comedians. Because I started doing comedy after fourth year medicine. And all of a sudden all these different comedic voices are coming out. Right? Because initially we were all performing just for white audiences.
You and who? And can you?
We're the people.
If you go back, who was around you at the time?
So it was the
Early
Cape
days.
Comedy Collective, started by Mark Sampson and Sam Pierce. Two English guys, people, husband and wife duo,
Okay.
who kind of set this thing in motion. The people at the start were a lot of the people that you see now. Luis Ogola was in high school.
At the time, okay.
Stuart Taylor was there. Kurt Schoenraad. Mark, you know, he dabbled in the comedy circuit, but he also started doing his theater shows at that time.
Yes.
Mark Lottering. And then, for example, from the Cape Town scene, right, emerged the Joburg scene, which is the pure Munati scene.
Yes, I remember that.
Right. So then a lot of the comedians you see as relatively well known today came out of that group.
Human Nazi show, yeah.
Yeah. So so we never knew that one day I'll be doing a movie. We never knew that one day we'll have a sketch comedy show for everybody. We never knew or had an example of that. We never had the example of the fact that Trevor Noah,
It's like the first time this
we
stuff
have
was
a guy
happening.
that could be the head of one of the biggest late night shows in the world. We never had that as a reality. So you purely did something for the love of
For
the
the
art.
love of it. So then what I'm saying is, so while you were doing the comedy, did you still have a day job? This, like, you still have.
I was in mid school, bruh,
Yes.
doing stand up. Even when I qualified, I used to do stand up in the evenings and then be back for ward rounds the next day.
Yo.
It was tiring. I don't know how many times
But
I
you had the
woke
energy
up,
of it at the time.
woke up behind the wheel, like driving back.
So did you incorporate? I mean, in the early days, did you incorporate the
Medicine,
study
yeah.
medicine into the jokes?
Yeah, definitely.
And people caught the jokes?
yeah. No, just the experience. It's a
Just the
weird thing
experiences.
being a doctor. Like, I
Yes.
mean, being a doctor, both my parents are doctors. And then, like, my dad, I was just lucky that I had a Muslim family that wasn't closed. This is haram.
So haram, you can't. Yeah.
Because I actually pushed the boundaries a bit even before, because in high school I went to the College of Magic. The College of Magic here in Lansdowne Road.
I see it exactly there. opposite
Right.
there with the yes.
Stuart Taylor and I were both there.
Is it? Okay.
Conrad Koch,
The
the
building still
vent.
exists. It's still there, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
still
still
a thriving place. Conrad Koch, the ventriloquist.
Yes.
With Chester missing, that we're all there. At the
Okay.
College of Magic. And
Shirk.
Yeah, exactly. I had a friend, Abu Bakr Bray.
Yes.
Right? He came to me standard 7. I remember it
Used to have
clearly.
probably shops, right?
We were sitting
Yes.
at I think the prefabs there at SP, and he showed me this pamphlet.
Okay.
A pamphlet with dove and,
The magic, yeah.
vibes,
Okay.
top hat, all that vibes. And he says, "Come, we go do this, bruh." And then I was like, "Okay, I wasn't so interested, but
Come and go check it out.
Okay.
Oh, go check it out.
Okay. Right? Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So I ended up going, this, bruh, magic is haram.
Okay. So
Like
but
the
you-
same thing. So he couldn't go. So now he's in IT.
But I mean,
and
it's not
I'm this
but it wasn't like
comedian.
magic.
Yes, but I mean, just the idea.
Okay.
You know?
It was different kind of.
It's like, it's just tricks.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
So, so it's just that because my parents happened to be open to a thing like that,
Yes.
I had the opportunity to do those things
So they
and
allowed you to
express
do
myself
Do
creatively.
you have any siblings, by the way?
I've got a brother and a sister, yeah.
And
my brother is
older or younger than you?
a younger. Yeah, I'm the eldest, yeah.
Okay. So then what were they saying about you just, living this comedy life as well?
No, it's because I never had that moment where I confronted my parents. It wasn't like that. I was just hardworking.
When did you come
nerd.
out with it?
You know,
yeah,
just
when did you come out the closet?
No, I was just studying continuously,
Yeah.
right? Like I was a hardworking kid.
Mom, Dad, I have to tell you something.
Yes.
They're like, what is it?
Mom, I just want to be funny.
I'm a comedian.
I just want to be me.
It's gonna be funny.
Right? I just want to be me.
Yeah.
You know? Right?
Yeah.
I just want to and then I, quit everything and go live in my car and wait tables
Yes,
for
that's-
2
that's-
years,
But they were okay.
I have to be on the casting couch, stuff like that. No, I didn't have to do any of
Okay.
that. I just worked and did stand up at the same time.
So at what
as I
point did they
everything.
come check a show out? Like, I mean, was your parents ever in the audience at one point? Did they
When
ever
I-
get to watch you?
Lots of times they've seen me, especially over the years when I started doing my own shows and so on. But they've definitely seen a lot of my shows.
Yeah, I mean, were
as
they
a
critical
kid.
of it like afterwards?
My mother doesn't laugh
Okay,
at things.
okay.
It's not she doesn't laugh at things. She gets worried for you, and she also cares about what messages you are sending.
So that's what I mean. So like,
So you see, my comedy is also very sensitive to a lot of the messages that I send. So in that sense, I'm not always as free on stage with exactly what I'm saying, because when you improvise a lot, whether you go in many different directions as a comedian, you got to be free to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, and not worry about the consequences of saying the incorrect thing. Whereas I don't come from that sort of background. And also being the first Muslim comic, right? You also have that sensitivity. So I would just step over the line, then step back.
Okay.
That's me.
Yes.
Right? I step over and step back, step over, step back,
Yeah.
step over, step back. And I ended up always getting the negativity even on stage.
About that. Okay.
And even from the community. Like, I mean, many, many times. Just because of my Muslim persona, right? And it wasn't as common
At the time.
at that time.
Yeah. But now listen now for lots of comedians right now. And I asked this question: How do we find the common ground between like I'm joking and you took that too far? Do you know what I mean? Because you said like you cross the line and you get back, but what is the line?
Depends your style.
Because now if for a comedian, should there really be lines like or
If
do-
you are
or-
making
or
them
do
laugh.
comedians get like a free pass to just talk cack?
If you are making them laugh,
Yeah.
you're doing your job. That's
Okay.
my view.
Yes.
If there's no laugh, you did a wrong thing. It's as simple as that. If you are making them laugh, you are fine.
Okay.
That's your job. So some also comedians, I want to speak truth to power.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
want to speak truth to power. Comedy is the last art form. They talk
Raw
about
and
this.
it's like it connects.
Yes,
Yeah.
like get over yourself.
Yeah.
Like
You have to
really.
make them laugh, bro.
Maybe if you want to speak about something you care about and that can come out by the way,
Okay.
that's fine, right? But you are there to make people laugh. If you're not making them laugh, it's a
So
problem.
then I follow that up with have you ever gone over the line with someone who was like, "No, I didn't find
Yes,
it funny?
no, lots of
Like,
times.
that's not
But
funny.
because I talk about certain things that people sometimes don't think I should speak about, and they think even in the early days when I was speaking cultural things talking about Muslims, right? People think that is being anti-Islam. Because
Okay.
I'm not even talking about the religion at all. It's just
Culture.
I happen to be talking about being a Muslim, and this is around the time of post 9/11. This is
Yes,
big
okay,
Islamophobia. This is me talking about the things in that context. But because people haven't seen the thing before, right? They think it's not allowed. Like a lot of the things that you just see, that's every second video on Instagram or TikTok, right, would have been completely a problem when I had come up, because I
you
would
had
be
posted
doing it.
then, yes.
I would be doing it, and I would get a lot of negativity. But now, because so many more people are doing it, they're accessing different parts of the world, and they're seeing that, it's
Yeah.
they're understanding the spirit of the thing. And
So
people,
was it South Africans that had to like catch up to it, or
I actually don't know with respect to the different parts of the world, but I know.
I mean, if you look at international comedians, like they've been saying like outlandish shit like since
For a long time.
for a long
but
time.
Not,
And we've watched that stuff, and I mean we've consumed that stuff. We look at like the early Richard Price stuff, Cosby stuff. If you're looking at what's this guy's name now, man?
Eddie.
Eddie, yeah.
Yeah.
And there was fucking like you think of Delirious, it was saying like
Yeah,
wow
Chris
stuff.
Rock, yeah.
And now remember that was in the early days, and now I don't know. I feel like South Africans were a little bit more sensitive to stuff.
we are conservative.
Yes.
Right? But it depends, because we are more free racially,
Yes.
but more conservative religiously.
Yes, okay, I got
So
you.
you
I got
find
you, I
that
got
we
you.
will talk about race openly, and talk about the dynamics between the races freely. But then
Just like
there
every
will
comedy
be
show, we have to like
there'll-
dip into
there'll be
every
a
race.
respect. There'll be respect with regards to religion. Whereas you go to the UK, they will, bruh, the blasphemy
Okay, they say like
that
wow,
they
stuff.
say openly, and it's fine. But then being very sensitive how you put things from a racial perspective. So it just depends on
But then
the
again,
society.
it depends also where you at also.
Yes.
And
And you need to know your audience. So for me, I just have a aspiration to be as versatile as a comedian as I can be, to perform as in many different audiences as I can, just because I enjoy the art form and I want to get better at it. That's
No,
my
100% I got-
motivation.
So now who's your top 5 comedians?
So
When I say top 5, not South Africans, I mean internationally, or people that you enjoyed watching up, and as in no particular order. Like who are some of the main?
originally, Jerry Seinfeld and Chris Rock.
Jerry Seinfeld and Chris Rock. Okay.
So Jerry Seinfeld now has come out as a hectic Zionist, bro.
I saw that stuff about
Hardcore,
Seinfeld.
bruh.
Wasn't
Right.
he, wasn't he in a movie now just recently as well?
Yes, Unfrosted.
Yes, the Kellogg's movie. Yes.
And that's a bit, it's sad for me.
You now. Okay.
It's sad because this guy, like, he cares. Like, I follow almost everything he said, but meanwhile, like behind the scenes,
but
like he doesn't mind, brown people being blown up. Or, like, I mean,
did it change the narrative for you in your love for him?
I still appreciate his
What is
art,
that?
and I kind of hope that, he's of the group of Zionists who have been brainwashed into
Yes.
believing the dehumanizational aspect of the Palestinians, right? Very much like what happened here in South Africa,
Yes.
how
I didn't think so.
they dehumanize you and they can't connect with your humanity, right? Because of how you grow up.
Savages.
Right. The same
we
thing
know
that they've done over and over is playing out there. Because how do generally good people in normal life like allow some of those things to happen to
happen,
people?
yeah.
It's the only way you can do that if you
dehumanize them.
disconnect from the common humanity.
Okay.
That's different. That's me. That's evil. That's Hamas. That's whatever. That's terrorists,
So by
as they
removing
call
the
it.
human factor of them,
Then it's okay.
to do that, yeah.
We the good guys. They the bad guys.
Yes.
We the good guys, they the bad guys. Like if it's even you just think about it, and we buy into it because the movies, like most of the movies, bruh, like Tom Cruise, bruh.
Just killing-
Tom Cruise.
Just-
Highway to the
Yes.
danger zone. And people go, that's Tom Cruise, bruh.
That's Tom Cruise, yeah.
But this bro is blowing up brown people who look like us.
the whole time.
The whole time.
Yes.
And we were like, yeah, Tom Cruise, bruh. So it's like you realize how deeply entrenched this thinking is.
Is now with that, now with what you just said now, no? Saying obviously you've been talking much more about the genocide, what's been happening. And I think everyone has been vocal about it.
Yeah.
In fact, the world has. If you haven't, well, then there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
But that being said, now for some people, this is like a sensitive topic still.
Yes.
So like, how do you be a comedian and still and people be like, yeah, but now you're gonna talk about the genocide, or
Yes.
you know what I mean?
Nah, dude, that I agree with you. It's just difficult, especially for me as a family-friendly comic. Like most of my stuff before is like wife, kids, right? That's my thing.
And now you're like,
The wife, kids, and now
stop talking about the big elephant in the room.
and then I'm still want to do what I want. No, but you see, it's weird on my timeline. I made this
no, I
gag.
actually just watched that podcast thing that you said about how your timeline looks.
It's weird.
Genocide,
Right.
Pilchards.
Yes.
I'm doing the show.
Like how
Yeah.
I don't even know what I'm doing anymore.
Yeah. So are
but
you an activist or you a comedian?
it's not. It's
or you.
yes, but it's not like it's. This is a thing that you can't, I think, turn away from.
Yes.
and you shouldn't turn away from because it can send us into a different direction as a world,
I got you.
or into the old world. Like, you know Winston Churchill, right?
Yes.
Right? This bra fought Hitler. Right? And he said this about the Palestinians. This is what he said. Right? I do not agree that the dog in a manger has a final right to the manger, even though he may have lain there for a very long time. I do not admit that right. I do not admit that a great wrong has been done to the black people of Australia or the red Indians of America. I do not admit that right, that fact, because of the very fact that a greater race, a more worldly wise race, a stronger race has come in and taken their place. Now this was the
Yo.
good bra.
This was the good.
This was the good bra
Yeah.
that saved us from that bra.
Yes.
Right? So that thinking is an old thinking. That old thinking.
But it's technically still evil depending on what side it's coming from. You know what I
right.
mean?
Because that thinking is it's the superiority thinking.
Yes, because
I am
we-
more powerful
we here,
than
so
you.
we'll take this now.
Right?
Yes.
So I come into your area and I take what you want, it's fine, and I do what I want with you because I am more powerful than you. Right? And that thinking. And then after that World War, they said, no, we can't do this. Human rights, bruh. Human rights.
Yes.
You can't take over stuff anymore. These are laws. And they came up with all these laws. Right?
But
They
I mean, the
came out
early
with all
days,
the
right?
laws.
That was like the early days.
Yes.
Were conquering lands.
Yes, so you want to go back to that, bro, where now people can just come here now. Oh, no.
Like, we got more power. Just give it all. To
They're
us.
just going to come here and take your thing.
Yes.
Because they got more power. We don't want to go back to then. So if you don't agree, if you don't respect the law, the international law, we can easily go back to those days.
But now then how do you quantify what is happening right now? Because we've went to the ICJ, we've spoken about this and that, and people have been, but it's like nothing's stopping on the
Really
other side.
happening, yeah.
Because that's weird though, because like what's the 7th of, what is the date? 7th
Nothing's
of?
happening.
Like it's still the same thing happening. Everyone's like, yeah, you know, they protest. I know we are using our voices, and I know we're like, you guys need to be held accountable, you know, in the International Court of Justice.
But
people are still dying
Yes.
every day.
What is going to happen is they relying on the fact that we are going to lose energy
A momentum
and
about
lose
something. Yes.
momentum and so on. But ultimately, all you want is, if you think about it like a game of sport.
Okay.
Right? If you think about all of this as sport, when you watch a sporting game, it's not that there mustn't be competition. It must be that you compete under fair rules.
Yes.
Right? Now, at the moment, we live in a world where you're not competing under fair rules. And we live in a world where the strongest player is going, I got the ball, and
do you
I'm
mean?
going to pass it to whoever I am. And you can't even try and get my ball because there's people with big guns
If
pointed
you
at
try
you.
this,
You
yes.
can play with your Fisher Price ball, right? I will play with my ball.
Okay.
Right? And if you want to like try and encroach on my territory, I'll shoot you.
Yes.
That is the world. But if we live in a world where we all agree on the set of rules, right, and we compete under those rules and we respect those rules, then this whole life can be like a game where we actually find the best amongst us. Like you will even go, that is Bra's on the opposite team, but he's good, Bra.
He's good, yeah.
You can't turn your way from that. And you find the best amongst you when you compete under fair rules. When you do not,
Yeah.
that becomes the problem. And this making the world fair right? For everybody. So it's not about equality, it's
Do you
about
ever see
fair
that
rules.
that ever happen in what you said? I mean, for
I
me,
hope that
seems,
there is.
I don't know. For now, it just seems like a pipe dream, bro.
It
and
seems like it's
and I'll
not.
be honest with you because, like, if you look at just generally how the world has been, the whole thing is fucked up. I don't know if you know what I mean.
It's
Like,
the
as a
only way.
comedian, do you ever sit and just think like, well, the world?
Yeah,
pretty
the
fucked
only
up.
now everybody's thinking
The
that now.
world's, you know.
It's the only way.
Yes.
This is the only way. The only way forward is equal rights. We know that from you. Know, you're born with that.
Yes.
When you're born with that and you with the understanding of fairness, you either want exactly the same or more. That's a natural thing. You got lighties and you're sharing out a thing. I want, no, you got a bigger piece.
Yes.
Mama, you got a bigger piece.
Yes.
Right? If you got the bigger piece, you're happy. Right?
Yes.
Right? But so we can deal with fairness
Yes.
and it's built in, right? And we want more. So the animal in us wants
Always
more.
wants more. Yes, I get that.
Right? But the thing that is going to work is this idea where you're playing under fair rules.
So who gets to decide what is fair?
So at least one of the fair rules,
know what I mean?
don't kill babies.
Okay.
Let's freaking start there.
Okay.
Like, I mean, if we can't agree, if you
But
find...
if you own something like Western media, and you can first claim that there was originally babies with
Yes.
no heads, and then to now really have it's like, yeah, but okay, we had already, but we haven't seen
But
those.
now the thing why it's
We haven't seen
changing,
those.
why it's changing is because before in the past they used to fight a propaganda war because everything used to go through media.
Yes.
So they can say, I said, you said,
Yes.
right? But now you going, I said, I'm showing you.
Okay.
So what you say,
Show us now.
you say, the picture is painting a lot.
Need proof.
Even people saying the Palestinians, right? They're faking all of that. I'm like, bruh, I'm just thinking, how good is the Palestinian special
Fake
effects
that.
team?
Yes.
Right? Right? Like, I mean, you must get those bras working for you in Hollywood, dude, because they're doing like better special
way, bro.
effects
Yeah.
for humanitarian aid money. Right? For $1 a day, I can create a Ridley Scott scene
Let's
for
just
you.
get the cameraman. We got the whole
Right.
team here. Okay, boss
Yes.
now.
Like,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. Like, but people don't want to believe certain things. They're stuck in their own narratives.
Now, do you also believe that some people, as long as it's not happened to us, it's okay? Like there are some people like it that exist.
No, but
Like you know that like let's think of South Africa, like you know, pre-apartheid days. You know, as long as I'm living in Sea Point and I'm fine there, and I don't see what's happening there, tires burning, like it doesn't exist to me because I'm not watching it. Now the world is forcing you to see this thing right now.
and the danger is there's two dangers. First of all, what happens? The world keeps you in a hole. Humans are greedy, but they also help people. Right?
Okay.
Now, when you're in a hole, it's difficult to help someone because you need to get out of this hole.
Yes.
So the structure of the world wants you in that hole. Everybody.
Everybody needs to know, so they cannot help.
So you just, it's not you can't help, it's just you
You're so
consume with your
consumed
own
by
thing.
focusing on yourself.
Right,
Fuck you.
because I'm in a hole. If you're on ground, if you're on level ground and you see help and if someone needs help, you help. This is a natural thing. You see that if that happens in front of you, people react because it's inbuilt
Yes.
from Allah. It's inbuilt, right? But if you kept in this idea that you're in a hole and you're trying to just survive, you need to protect yourself, and that's natural because you can't really help other
What they
people
say,
if you're in a hole.
Self-preservation is our most basic human instinct.
Because how can you help anybody if you're gonna
Need
die?
help yourself.
Right. So if you create a world in which you are constantly in a hole, it's very difficult for you to help others. So that's one thing. And then that's for the people at the bottom, how you keep them in check.
Okay.
The people at the top you keep in check because you get the Pharaoh mentality. Right? Pharaoh, you remember that, bruh. Right? I'm the top because I'm the top G.
Yes.
That's who I am. Right?
Who is your God?
Right?
I am your God.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? The idea that because I got so much material in this life, material goods,
Yes.
or material power and money and so on, that must mean I am better.
Then you.
Right? Whereas that is not what you must be thinking. You must be thinking anything that I've gotten is from that.
But you can't explain that to someone who doesn't believe in the same dogma as you.
Right? But if you can still believe, you can still tell a person you're either going to worship material or you're going to worship humanity.
Yes.
You're going to go like, I'm going to either build this building and this nice building, because I went to Dubai recently at the same time as what's happening in Gaza.
Yes.
So the weird thing is everything is beautiful and perfect, beautiful, like high buildings, like, I mean, water fountains.
That's
You got
just like a
Pakistanis just like slowly raking, the
No
garden,
Popping no shops up nowhere, but they raking.
like they just with such serenity, know.
Okay.
Everything is perfect. Everybody's got fake lips, fake backsides.
Yeah.
Right. I walked outside a mosque. Outside the mosque,
We
there's
must-
a
was it
G-string,
desert,
bruh.
eh? Huh?
There's a G-string, bruh, just walking past, right? Like just like,
Dubai, eh?
like
Yeah.
it's very different. Not Habibi, Abubi, like
Yes.
it's just like right.
It's
It's
Habubis everywhere.
unusual, you
Yeah.
know, thing I don't expect. And then at the same time, this sort of massacring of kids
It's happening on the other
is
side.
happening.
Yes.
Right? And then people say, I can't talk about that because it's going to affect my bag. It's going to affect money. It's going to affect the system. No, I mean, the
Yes.
world, I've got all these deals, financial arrangements with people. So that may have to happen. Because then what happens is you are worshipping the material world over humanity.
Okay.
And you can't do that. At least with kids. It's like one of these rules you go like, you saying that magic of life, which we don't understand,
Yes.
right, is less important than money. That magic thing that's flowing through all of us.
No, I agree with you 100%.
You know?
But you must be honest that some people are willing to turn a blind eye and be like, the
Yes.
money is more important. Because
Yes.
like, I asked someone about this specific thing, and the reason that you mentioned it now is that like, look, I have this deal with so and so company. So my stipulations is don't speak about this because it's not a good look because these people are actually pro the other side. So now all of a sudden I speak about it. Oh, well, the deal's off the table.
Yes.
I was supposed to give you 700,000. You were supposed to get another 1.4 year, but sorry,
So no, I
the
don't-
deal's off the table. You believe in humanity, so let's see you raise those kids on humanity too.
Yes, yes. No, so therefore you're sitting in your hole.
Now you
But you're not realize, but that's the structure of the world that forces you to make those decisions, right? Which is incorrect. It's actually the number one issue with humans that started from existence, from the beginning of time, right? The fact that we either worship the material or we worship God. That's the deeper thing.
Okay.
Right? So people will go like, I'm not saying it's a simple thing, right? To actually manage and fix it in real terms.
real terms, yeah.
I'm not saying it's simple, but you got to identify the problem. If, for example, you're thinking money is more important than like seeing kids in like Checkers packets, like in mush, right? And allowing that type of thing to continue in the world over that, then you're not understanding that the fact that we are allowing those things is going to end in our destruction. It's gonna end because this material is not real and it's not something that continues. Like let's say we focus on material. If you follow that to its end, we will destroy ourselves.
Yes.
We as a species will destroy ourselves.
But that's where we're headed.
Right.
Clearly.
Unless with a sort of a awakening and understanding. It's not that you can't compete. This is what you either go, you say, no, you must make things equal and then there's no competition and everything is equal. It's not about that. It's about fair rules. You compete like you see those rugby guys competing on a field and they're boxing and they're fighting, but there's rules is fair.
Rules there, yeah.
Right? The rules is fair, and if you win the thing, you're out. You win.
That's what I'm saying. I imagine you live in a world, right? So we have things like, obviously, religion exists. But again, not everybody follows the same religion. So I know it's easy for you to say, like, Islamically, like, it's not correct to be Muslims, and how can we allow this and this to happen? If someone was a Hindu or a Jew, and it was like, but maybe my doctrine says that this is okay, and this is right. The reasons that justifies as to why I do this.
Yeah.
And if you look at it from
everybody believes in fair rules. Everybody believes in fair rules.
Yes.
Like, as a concept, no one's going to argue no fair rules. What they will do is they will Biscallum in between
In
and
between,
go.
yeah.
But everybody believes in fair rules. You say, yo, we must make the world as fair. Fair. Right.
Okay, so now this is now all the semantics of everything we've been talking about. But on a straight point, what do you feel about what is your honest opinion about what's happening in the world today? Don't be talking about Gaza, this whole thing that's happened. What is your view on it?
I think I'm just talking about me. Like
Yes.
what I thought is that, we do come from a past of colonialism, apartheid, imperialism, right? And this was the idea in the world. But we're trying to live in a world where there's human rights and we're trying to create fairness, right? Because there's all these rules out there that are trying to, I'm listening to you. You want to be there's more compassion coming out in the world. You want to think, you feel you are of a different gender or whatever. I'm going to listen and try and understand your
you.
perspective. There's more compassion. We're moving in a direction where you're at least trying to be more accommodating to everyone, or to see that, you might felt like a freak or marginalized or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Society can go, yo, we see you, and we're trying to respect everybody, like in every aspect, from Islamic perspective, from every religious perspective. So I thought that was it. And now you see these things happening in the world where people are literally not caring about babies. And it's like, it's a thing. Everybody sort of can connect with a baby.
With a baby, 100%.
Right? And if you're detaching yourself from that fitra, that purity, there's something very sick that's going on. And we need to sort of reframe what's going on.
When I had the conversation with Ibrahim al-Samadi, we spoke a little bit about that. I was like, it's to that point of, if we think that's okay for something like that to be happening there, what happens when it comes over here? Do we expect that the rest of the world also just be like, you know what, that's just popular in Cape Town, and to have the same kind of thinking, because it's not impossible.
Yeah,
It's
it
not
happened
impossible for that
before
thing
with
to happen,
apartheid.
Yeah.
Right, and they had to shift, and then the whole world had to shift and go, yo, this is not not right, right, and then you had to have some sort of change, just an idea, and then at the same time, behind the scenes, the forces of power and money is still working to try and keep it's a bigger issue that's at play here. Like people living with excess credit, people literally in a hole, just trying to survive, being distracted by a whole lot of things.
Yes.
And becoming sort of overtly focused on consumerism and stuff like that, which is important, but you can't worship that above humanity. It's
100%.
just
No,
this,
I got
it's
you.
just this balance. Because I would even go in Dubai, right? Even though even Saudi, like it's maybe a controversial thing to say, but if you are quiet and about doing all the rituals of Islam, which we are taught,
Yes.
right? But you still
Not saying anything.
allowing that to happen. You are still worshipping money. You still idol worshipping.
Yes.
You still Quraishi. You still
Okay.
You still old school. Like I'm idol. I worship the material more than humanity. Right? Even if you're doing the rituals.
I speak under correction because I don't know how true it is. It's more like they say, she said, I said, but I don't know. Apparently, in some way, that let's say this Israeli government and Saudi have been doing business together for many years. So it's a point of, do we say something and cut the ties of business that we have? Someone even went as deep as to say is that some of them are even distant cousins. Like someone in there could be. Like I said, I don't know.
There's always conspiracies.
There's conspiracies.
I
about
don't
it.
like
know about
that.
it, but
I don't like conspiracies because I think that it makes you helpless.
Because then you just
I don't like that.
turn
I
around
just
in a
think,
circle.
okay, there's something wrong here. I don't trust you anymore. I'm not
Okay.
going to play the game anymore because I don't trust the game. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create new systems from the ground up or new connections with people, like-minded people, and we start doing things that, serve a certain set of values that we believe in.
No, I got you.
Right?
Yeah.
Because something else is going on over
Yes.
there. And it's cool that you have stuff like this. People's minds are being reframed.
Yeah.
by listening to many different people. Like I listen to many different people. Like for example, Andrew Tate. I'm listening to Andrew Tate more now, right? And Andrew Tate is
Now
making me,
it's making more sense.
no, but he's making me feel bad about myself, bro.
Okay.
Like so, for example, he's like he's like, one of the lies women have told men is that the man has to be at home, like a second mother, right? Man's supposed to be at war, going out, doing business. A man's supposed to be impactful. He's supposed to be a superhero. It's difficult to be a superhero. We're at home all day, changing diapers, arguing with your wife. All right? And there I'm standing with a Pampers.
Wipes.
Right? You know? Like a punk.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Right? So for me, I had the greatest father in the world. I saw him every 3 months. You know? I'm like, what?
I can't
You know?
relate, yeah.
Oh,
Can I
what?
be the same person?
So,
Yeah.
so it's interesting. You have all these perspectives coming
people,
out,
yeah.
and then you are exposed to how complicated people are. So everybody's starting to talk again and starting to grapple with complicated ideas and perspectives and try and find what is the right way.
The right way, yeah.
But we in the space of grappling.
Everywhere just to find out.
This is at the point where everything now, you need to tidy up your room, but you throw everything out.
Let's just see what we
You
can
know,
find here. Yeah.
we just know something is wrong. We need to reorganize stuff. So let's just lay it all out there.
So let
And
me
there
also-
is confusion, but I think we will find order.
Has you speaking about the genocide impacted you in any way?
Yes, it does. Like,
in a personal sense.
White people don't like me anymore.
The white people
Old
not
white
anymore.
people used to love my comedy because, Riaad, you don't swear with your humor. You're very family orientated. And I love, your jokes about your wife and your kids are so relatable.
But don't the Palestine
Right?
stuff. You have to stop that really, Riaad. I don't know.
no, but then,
Yes, I mean-
they hit a cognitive dissonance.
Yeah.
Because then you talk about what's happening there is wrong. And then they go, I'm just going, it's aligned. I care about babies and kids. And I don't like that. This is not family values to
but-
blow people
Fine,
up.
fuck. You know?
But for them, they have this belief system that is evil and that this is good. So they can't grapple with the reality of that. So that's why they will even say, I will blow up Hamas. We need to blow up Hamas. Is more important than saving a baby.
But I mean, you heard the concept about that mowing the lawn.
Yes.
It's most obviously
Right.
killing them before they eventually become
Right.
older.
Which
and-
is psycho.
because, like, you know what? Before they become terrorists, but
You never
quote,
do
unquote-
that if you identified with a common humanity.
Oh, so this is
You
all the
can
comedians. Let's kill
never.
them before they become comedians.
Right? You can never. Right? So I think we learning about a lot of different things.
Yes.
And you're learning how complicated people are. You don't idle. I'm even learning myself. Like, just don't hold people. Like, even with Seinfeld, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I love Arnie.
Yeah. What's Oni saying?
No, but Arnie is like always being inspirational, but he's also siding with, the genocide.
But then again, do you like if it goes back to your original thing of what you're saying? But then maybe are they siding with because those are their real values, or because they put in
Yeah,
that
it's
thing
complicated.
above?
It's complicated. I think they're gonna.
Because I think that the true nature of a human being, if they should really, really go down to it, and material things doesn't exist, then it's obviously fucking wrong.
Yeah.
But you know what? This
But
serves
I
me,
understand
so-
because you also need material. This
Yes.
is important. That's what people get confused. And now, I don't want to be materialistic. It's just you can't be led by materialism. You can't worship it like your God.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. Just you got to
No, I
bring
got
that
you.
down.
Makes sense to what you're saying,
But
yeah.
I would think these guys understand it. Like, they come with some deep stuff. Arnold is like my whole life at the talent of being able to see things clearly in front of me. If I could see it, it must be achievable. And the idea was to sculpt the body to your will, but it could also be used to shape your mind. You know,
that's deep.
Like when I was a little child in Austria, I used to visualize myself on the Mr. Olympia stage, you know, posing, everybody shouting my name, Arnold, Arnold, Arnold. And when I was 21, that dream became a reality, and a hunger for more, for much, much more. You know, like this, bruh. So you go like, okay, now that is kwai, but then you go, if that is taken to the end,
Yes.
this bruh with that mentality will obliterate you.
Yes.
If
So
you
that
take that mentality, it's proper self-worship. I had the hunger for more, for much, much more. You know, which is the thing that we all vulnerable to if
We
you
want
fall
more.
prey to that thing.
Yes.
Right? And that must just be kept in check. Just be careful of that thing. That's what our religion tells you. Just be careful of that, bruh. That thing for more, for much more. Just be
Yes.
careful of that thing.
But now listen, if you, with everything also that you've been saying now, if you look at like from a religious perspective, right?
Yeah.
Do you think this would be like you know, like you talk about the end of times?
This thing made me more religious.
It's like, do you believe this to be part of the end of times? Like, good, while things like this are happening.
This thing made me more religious.
Okay.
Like I always believe in the principles, right? I don't make my salahs regularly.
Okay.
You know, my family is way better. My son
Still
is
not eating pork.
Hafid. Yeah, the basic, like all the thing I do. It's just I'm not as like I was never. I'm
I know what you
more
mean, man.
accepting of different faiths.
Yes.
You know, right? And there needs to be sort of a commonality and a common
Yes.
humanity, right? But since stuff like this has happened and you go back to the teaching, you go, bruh, this is deep stuff, bruh. This is deep.
This is deep. Yeah.
This is deep. This is the truth. You know, you go like, and it's the same message. It's like the fundamental message. Just beware of this tendency to worship the self, and just worry about that thing.
So are you praying more now?
Yeah.
You are.
Yes.
Are you speaking to Creator more often?
Now I always go like, what does Allah gonna give me? I'm gonna ask
Yes.
Allah for stuff, and you know, like inshallah Allah will
Grant me this
Like
and
no,
yeah.
I just more like try and have gratitude. You go like
Gratitude all the
gratitude.
time, yes.
Like you go like if good things happen, alhamdulillah. If bad things happen, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
That is the thing that I always
Yes.
that I was always spoke about. Like I talk about just being at just before the pandemic, having opportunity to do some writing work for Trevor Noah and the Daily Show.
Okay.
Right.
Alhamdulillah.
Right. And then, okay, I thought, okay, I'm going to do this. I tried to make it work. I took my 4 kids, my wife to Manhattan, check if it could possibly be, like it could work. But I couldn't make it work, taking my whole family, relocating them to Manhattan. Right. I couldn't do it. I had the opportunity to be on the biggest, like one of the biggest TV shows,
Okay.
or at least be a writer,
Yes.
right there. And I couldn't make it happen. And then I was like, okay, alhamdulillah,
But why
you know.
did it happen? Because the whole family couldn't go work?
No, it's just like the what, you know, it's cold there also.
Yes.
And now you must get new schools and how long are we going to be there? Where are we going to stay? There's no family support. If I'm away, I'm going to be away the whole day. My wife is going to be like alone in a
Yes.
place where there's no support. I don't know what's happening with kids. Like there's health things.
So
with-
you had to like consider all,
all
of
of
this.
these things.
Okay.
And then I couldn't make it happen. I was like, alhamdulillah, must have gratitude. Inshallah, in the future, I'll have the
But
opportunity
what they
again.
say, man, what
Right?
is meant for you,
Right.
must you,
Right.
versus you was never meant
And
for you.
then afterwards, then I thought, okay, now, okay, I have the opportunity now again. Then an opportunity presented
Okay,
itself
again.
again. Right? And then the pandemic hit. Right?
Okay, so
and
it's
then
just-
once again, I'm like, alhamdulillah, must have gratitude. Inshallah, in the future, I have opportunity again. Then 2 years pandemic, and I thought, now, bruh, now.
It's coming now,
Now's
I'm
my
going.
chance. Now is my chance. Right? This is my chance. I'm going to take this opportunity now.
Genocide
Everything
happening
is
now.
ready. No.
What?
This bloody Trevor, who I love, gave up hosting the Daily Show.
Yes, and decides to come home.
All right. So now I'm here with you, Mr. Meyer. Like, alhamdulillah.
Why did you leave it, by the way? I mean, what did they say about that?
No, it's stressful, bro.
Stressful. Yeah.
It's stressful. Like, I
Do
mean,
you think if you in that position, you'd be able to fulfill that?
no,
as well?
I wouldn't do that. I'm too, like, I mean, predominantly like everything fits in around the family.
Yes.
Like, so because I structured my life like that.
Around the family.
I had to say no to a lot of things, right? That, you know, could sort of, like even after Material, I had the opportunity, I did Long Walk to Freedom. After that, I had opportunity to be in a number of films.
Films, yeah.
Right,
But you never did it because
I never did it because it wasn't anything amazing artistically. It may have been great for the career, like some Samuel L. Jackson film, some Lawrence Fishburne film.
And you haven't written in your any of your own films?
Right. Well, Material.
Yes, I
wrote,
formed that since
like
then.
and the follow up New Material, and I may do that from time to time. But my life as an actor, as just an actor out for hire, is not really.
Yes.
Although
Even
I
another
naturally,
you gotta give me a role now, like just like
Yeah.
whatever, just like something.
inshallah,
Amen.
and proper inshallah,
Yeah,
not,
inshallah.
not
Like, yeah, just say that by the
inshallah.
way, that's a guy, if the new material come out, you know, I won't be there. Promo, something.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so because I've decided to do that, I deciding to. Although I like acting and
Yes.
naturally I can do it a little bit, even more so. Like I have affinity to do. I've always done voices from when
Yes.
I was a lighty, like more than done jokes. I just impersonated and I did that
So
naturally.
you have, I mean, since we have you, we might as well give you your top 5 impersonations, yeah.
Oh no, I like.
You give us
My favorite.
you
favorite.
yeah.
Right, you tell the movie, okay?
Okay, I'm gonna try.
It's an old movie.
I'll try.
And I'm gonna do it. Like,
Okay.
I know what you think it means, Sonny. To me, it's just a made-up word, a politician's word, that young fellas like yourself wearing a suit and a tie and have a job. What do you really want to know? Am I sorry for what I did?
well, are you?
Not a day goes by that I don't have regret. Not because I'm in here or you think I should. I look back on the way I was then. That young, stupid kid that committed that terrible crime. I want to talk to him. I want to try and talk some sense to him. Tell him the way things are. But I can't. That kid's long gone, and this old man is all that's left. And I have to live with that. So you go ahead and stamp your form, Sonny, and stop wasting my time. Because to tell you the truth,
Yes.
I don't give a shit.
Shawshank Redemption.
Morgan Freeman.
Bra.
Yes. Shawshank Redemption, I knew it.
Right? That's
Yes.
my favorite. Like, I mean, just the scene, you know? The scene, right? And what's another one I always do?
Okay.
Right? Right? For Rocky 5, bruh.
Okay.
Or Rocky is called Rocky, where Rocky has an argument with his adult son.
Okay.
Right? And I always say, like, I used to do that whole scene for my lighty.
Okay.
But not as an adult, a 4-year-old.
4-year-old, when he was younger. Okay.
Right? The scene where he's going, yeah, you ain't gonna believe this. You know?
The Rocky face always like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you used to fit right here.
yeah.
I used to hold you up and say to your mother, this kid is gonna be the best kid in the world. This kid is gonna be better than anybody ever knew. And you grew up good and wonderful. Every day watch was like a privilege. But something other than that, things changed.
Yeah.
You stop being you. You start let people stick a finger in your face and tell you no good. When things got hard, you start looking for someone to blame, like a big shadow, right? And then what I do in on stand-up, I kneel down and I stare in the face of my child.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place. And I don't care how tough you think you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep it there permanently, leave it at it. Not you, not me, not anybody can hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
Yeah.
How much you can take and keep
Okay.
That's how winning is done, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so
That's two.
yeah.
We got one more. Just give us one more. Last one. It can be anything. Any impression. You decide.
I just do this.
That was great, by the way. It was fantastic. It was on point.
And then the
I was watching the movie.
lighty stuff. No, I get into it. I want to get into because you mustn't blink in a
Yeah,
film.
I'm just like, I'm
like you
watching it.
don't blink.
Yeah.
And I'm acting with you, bro.
And you just
like,
blink and like, yeah, so that's what I did. I'm like, oh, I thought I was still
you
there.
blink, yeah.
Okay. Any one more. One more. Anyone.
This is one. I'd like to steal the Krabby Patty secret formula.
Okay.
SpongeBob. You know, that's my
Yeah.
favorite. Yeah.
So you still do, I mean, so when you do stand up now, when was your last show? What was that, about how long ago?
I'd like to forget.
Okay.
If you recall
What's that
what I
one? What's that
did,
one? When's the
that
next show? When's the next show?
So I'm doing shows. I'm working on a new show
Mm.
all the time. But the main thing is right, which is why I'm inspired. But what you doing?
Mm.
I'm trying to start a wellness podcast.
Okay, dope. Then
It's
you
a
should.
it's a wellness podcast with a sense of humor.
Mm.
So that is either called the best medicine, which is one aspect, or back
It's a good name.
or back to med school, which is also a more which is what I want to do.
Yes.
So
Best medicine works for me.
yeah, yeah.
If it comes
like
up, I
both,
like it.
both
Either
of
of yeah.
the things, and you know. I
What
wanna
did you
get
like?
involved
What
with
did you
that.
touch on there? Like, I mean, since we are here, you might as well just like touch on it.
No, I will do from the beginning, from personal health.
Okay.
Your personal health aspect, which would even involve like mental health, financial health, and then your family health.
Okay.
All right, like even talk about and family wellness, like even talking about stuff like WMDs, not weapons of mass destruction, whining, manipulation, disrespect that you get from the teenagers.
Yes.
All right, and then maybe even like touching on spiritual health, you know, and wellness. So I can hopefully, you know, like collate my two careers, right, into one
I
thing,
got you,
right?
got you.
Something that's healing, but also will make you
Educational somehow
laugh
and
and
laugh, yeah.
be somewhat
Talking about
entertaining.
this, say every year, if you think about things like traumas and stuff.
Yeah, bro.
You work with lots of comedians. You feel like lots of the comedians have some sort of trauma as to why they're so funny.
Yes, without a doubt.
Yes.
There's something off with every
So like
comic.
something must you must be funny because like there must be some traumatic part of your
Yes.
life, and this is how you.
How you deal with it.
Yes.
Very, very often. The interesting thing about like Keenan Surf is interesting, young guy.
I know Keen stuff, yeah.
Now, Keenan has a very interesting origin story. And there's a lot of comics that have that. If you delve back into it, a lot of comics are actually dark.
Yes.
Dark. In
Yeah.
there. I'm not like that. I'm more, I think the comedy helps me with a weird sadness, but I think that's because I'm sensitive and I see I'm sensitive to a lot of difficult things in the world.
Yes.
So the comedy is like more not just for everybody, it's for me, bro. As for
That's
me,
your healing.
it's interesting because as a young person, I would say I was less like funny and or engaging with comedy than I am now. And it's
Okay.
interesting because all the people who were young with me, they were more clowny. And now I'm in middle age, they like all serious. And I'm
The
out
clown
there.
now, like or like you like.
It's
being more
because I brought that into my life and my world as a tool.
funny. Yes.
You know, so it's and it's the one thing that actually makes me happy. Like, I mean, even just the idea of writing jokes and performing it for the first time, and then not knowing if that's gonna work and if you can elicit that laugh, especially the first time because you don't know.
If it's gonna work or not, yeah.
Right. And that's what's so special about it. And I like, I mean, and that's what I like about the fact that comedy is actually good for the ego because comedy, you have to keep yourself low,
Yes.
right? Any other art form, you can be like a amazing entertainer and people can absolutely adore you, right? Adore you. And you can skate on this idol worship,
Yes.
skate by. A comedian, you need to be able to connect.
Yes, it's like you can't rest on your laurels. It's like you have to always come back.
And what
like,
makes you funny
have
is
something.
to a relatability.
Yes.
And if you don't have that, then you can actually lose your comedic
So
appeal.
at no point did you ever get to a point where you were just like, I think I'm done with this.
Not for comedy.
Yes,
Like maybe
for that.
the business of comedy,
Yeah.
because it can get ugly.
Okay.
The business of comedy, but not
comedy
stand up,
itself,
bro. Like I mean, just happy place,
So
bro.
does- do you-
Happy
does-
place.
And like I feel like with most people, depending on what their craft is, like when you're a good singer or you're an artist or you're a mechanic, it's almost like your family just like never appreciates it as much as like the general public.
Without
Are
a doubt.
Are you funny to your kids?
They
Do they think you're funny? They're like, yo, daddy, nah, it's boring.
no, daddy is daddy.
That is daddy.
No, daddy's more like
Like they don't realize like
Like,
when
I'm
they were
a bit weird.
When they were younger, it's obviously different. But I mean, obviously when they're older, it's always like you go outside, like, oh, you're a superstar. Ah, it's Riaad Moosa. You come home, it's like, daddy.
it's just daddy.
What's it people
It's
going
just
for?
daddy.
'Cause-
They sort of
Yes.
understanding it a little bit now, but our day to day is very
How
normal.
old's the eldest here? How's
So the eldest is 16.
Okay.
And he's just finished his hifth.
Okay,
Right?
alhamdulillah.
So Hafiz al-Quran. I always say, like, I can't discipline this, bruh.
Yes.
Like, his father's a comedian. Like,
Yes.
he's a Hafiz
Yeah, but
al-Quran.
you're
Right? No, he's a Hafiz
Yes.
al-Quran. And what I look, and I'm a comedian. Like,
He's like,
this,
who's-
I'm disciplining you. You morally superior to me.
Yes.
You know? Like, you know, so it's like, so he's just done that. And then I got a 14-year-old daughter. And a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old.
So it's 4 kids. Okay.
Oh, bro.
Yeah, are we
and
done?
it's intensive, bro.
We done. Or is it more?
Yeah. I told you at a certain point when the lighty, like I was ready for a sledgehammer to the balls, bro.
Of
No
the-
anesthetic, just like when I found out.
First one.
Obviously, I love them very much,
Yes.
but like, I think I'm a bit old for that. Grandkids, give me a
Grandkids
break,
is-
and then inshallah,
Listen, and
grandkids.
then I have to just touch on this, man. If considering you have 4 kids right now, how does it work in this economy, man, bro?
Yo, bro. Hectic, bro.
Like, as in, are we
It's heavy, bro.
we're not praising the material, but you must.
They did
that.
it. It's expensive. Everything is
Daddy, I want the phone.
extremely
Daddy, I want
expensive.
the shoes. Daddy, can we go here?
No.
Daddy, can we, like I mean, you see,
Right. No,
how do we? You know,
no, dude, I need to work more and but I'm trying to sort of structure my life where I can maybe work more from home instead of
Okay.
traveling as much. You know, because a lot of my material also comes from being
the family or what?
the dad.
Yes,
You
okay.
know, and it comes from that space. So it's a balancing act in terms of comedy, but the cool thing about comedy is that it's an old man's game.
yes,
It's not a thing that goes away for a long time. You actually naturally become funnier as you get
older
older.
you get, yeah.
Right? You don't necessarily be more famous, but you know older
You're
people
funny.
are funnier. And you
So-
know. Like,
I know, but
because
the
old
thing is-
people
but
say
old
more
people-
stuff.
but they say anything they want.
Yes.
So now does that mean, like, you know what? Once like I had this paw, right? It wasn't necessarily my paw. It was someone else's paw, but it was like a paw to us. But he said the most outlandish stuff, and we thought it was like the funniest thing under the sun. But we know this. You could never put this band on stage.
Yes. Right.
And I'm
It's
and I'm
stand-up
talking about
as a
like
performance,
this is
yeah.
like 20 years, like maybe 20 years ago. It's an old man, you know, and he's passed on, you know, God rest his soul. But he would say at the time, he would say racist things
Yeah.
or homophobic things. But to us at the time, we found it super hilarious.
Yes.
But he couldn't put him on a stage.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Some old people just say stuff. They say stuff without caring. So
Yes.
are you getting funny or is your need for caring just gone?
No. Yeah, no, you don't care. So
Yes.
naturally you become funnier.
Yes.
Right? And people accept it more from you because you're old.
Because you're old. Okay.
Because you're,
I got it.
You're more wrinkly, you're more vulnerable.
Yeah.
So even he goes the most racist, bro, you go
Yes.
like, it's just, you know, they come from a different time. Or
They
it's
go,
the
yes,
Opa,
it's not
and
accepted a little
you
bit
know,
more.
you get you grown up in a certain position. But also if you apply that to comedy, that thing of not caring and being more comfortable with yourself and just letting the thing out there, that can be used as a comedian.
I got you.
As a young person, right? You don't realize how much that it's a power to age. It's a power to age. That's why you'll see a lot of late night hosts, especially a lot of
They stay there for years,
they well on in age, like so it's there's more audience for young funny people too. They can find a lot of young funny people as well. but it's not like one of those things where you're a sportsman and then it's done.
Yes.
It's a thing that can
Can
continue
carry on.
for a
Okay, I
long
got
time.
you. Listen, I got a couple of questions before we go quickly. If you had to choose, would you rather be a comedian or a politician?
Comedian, bruh.
Yeah.
Right, but I don't know what's funnier though.
Okay. If you could change one thing in the world, what would it be? One thing, only one thing. It's toughy because there's so many things, but right now, one thing, and it doesn't have to be based on anything we spoke about. Just one thing you could change in the world right now. What would you change?
Right now, one thing.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I changed what's happening for the serious question, what's happening in Gaza, right? That's the serious question.
Yes.
But on a personal note, I'm going to the gym now recently, right? Right?
Yeah.
We're talking about utopies, like
Yes.
being comfortable with themselves.
Yes.
Like the ballas just like
Hanging out
hanging there like a speed bag,
is what-
right? Like
So that you'll change this.
uncircumcised, like
Okay, no,
like
that's
an
a bit too much.
anteater with a mane,
Yeah,
you know,
that's
just like that. I think
You change having that
I
covered
think
up.
I would change that. yeah.
Okay. Best age to have kids. This is a wonder. What do you think?
I think 30
30.
for a man, 25, 26. for a
25,
woman.
26. Would you rather lose your sight or your memories? So you not be have no all of the
my
memories
sight,
you have.
My sight.
Your sight can go, but you keep the memories.
Yeah, because I'm blind already, bruh. Like if I take, I'm like -7, -8.
Should you be
I
wearing
got
glasses?
contacts on.
Context,
yeah,
yeah. Okay, I got you. Would you rather have universal respect or unlimited power?
Universal respect.
Why the one over the other?
Because the one is about my service to others.
Would you rather have Beyonce's talent or Jay-Z's business acumen?
Beyonce's talent.
So why that one instead of the business acumen?
Hey?
Why that instead of Jay-Z's business acumen? I wonder, you got to give me a little bit of answers as to why you
It's
chose
all
one
the
of
same thing. It's all business acumen is about myself.
Okay.
Whereas Beyonce is offering something that we all appreciate to the world.
Okay.
Like, I mean, the thing, you're not going to remember Jay-Z's business talent doesn't change your mood.
Yes, but the talent does. I got you.
You know, it doesn't.
100%.
It's nothing.
Would you rather be royalty 1,000 years ago or average person today?
An average person today also.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, what they used to still poo in a bucket, bruh.
Yeah, it's 1,000
You know,
years ago.
there was no fridges back in the day, bruh.
Okay.
Right.
Would you rather always be 10 minutes late or always be 20 minutes early?
20 minutes early. Because I love my wife, but she doesn't believe in time. Right?
Okay.
She will come as more like,
Yeah.
you know, if you could identify as early as what's your pronoun? I identify as early.
That was my earlier question. I mean, do you have any pronouns?
No, normal. Like,
Well, it's just he.
Yeah, it's
What?
fine.
Okay.
You know, I think that is a.
Do you believe? Do you believe in? I'm just trying to get you in anything.
Into those
we
things.
have to ask this question.
About those things.
Yeah. I mean, what is your take on it?
It's a complicated take because there's medical aspects to it. But I think. Look here.
That's like explain it all, bro.
Now, you know, at a certain point you go, if you want to know when it becomes unfair to a lot of people, then it becomes wrong, right? But it's also good to be accommodating to those who feel different. So the two things that you're thinking of,
I get
like
that.
you see that movie with Hugh Jackman, where he's the circus master.
Yes,
And all those people with a beard, the lady with a beard, and the midgets, and all the people who look strange and are different, right? And before they used to put them in leper colonies, and they were outcasts and so on, and they used to make them freaks in a road show, and people used to pay money to that. So when we watch those things and they sing ta-da-ta-ta-da-ta, and then we identify as humans with feeling marginalized, because we all identify with like not being part of the group.
Yes.
So we connect with that, right? So there's just this movement today, right? Which personally I go like they may be overstepping in certain regards, but there's a movement to say, you know, society, can you hold us also? Don't make us change all the time to
Don't
society.
care, but that's like the semantics of it all, man. I want to know straight up. Now, what do you think about it?
No, but that's what I mean. I
Yeah.
think that it needs to go through the process.
Okay, so if tomorrow I say I identify as a woman, is it okay for me to use the woman's bathroom?
I would
Use the woman's
no,
bathroom?
you see, that's where it
That's
enters.
what I'm asking.
So that's where it
Yeah.
enters into fairness and the rules.
Okay.
So, for example, if you just want to that as a respectful thing, but where it goes into rules that may encroach on and have certain dangerous things
Yes.
happening,
Like-
then maybe it's a problem. So, for example, if a person who's born male by sex, which the terminology, not by gender, and then wants to become identifies as a female, right? Later on in life, but has gone through puberty and has the musculature of
Yes,
a
and wants-
male,
and wants
and
to
then
be
only afterwards wants to be a female and then wants to compete with females in a boxing contest, then that becomes like there's
But even
moral
that,
issues
Even that's
there.
not on them. Then this is so
No, but
unfair.
then there's moral issues there. Then may become, which some ladies would say, or people who identify as ladies and grew up
No,
as
the
ladies,
reason also-
become
yeah.
immoral because what's happening is then you having a physical fight,
With a man.
that becomes unfair, but it becomes complicated all the time because, like, for example, Castor is a good example of this. Castor, grew up as a girl. You understand that? So her whole life, she grew up as a girl. So
She grew up as a-
even though when she was born, apparently she had ambiguous genitalia.
Okay.
So what that means is sometimes this is medical stuff, bruh.
Yes.
You grow up and you don't know
both.
what this is, bruh.
About
and
the
then,
both.
and then you go, Owens, what are we going to do here? The doctor goes, okay, we're going to make it this, right? And she's going to be this.
Yeah.
Right? Because this is what we think it is. It sometimes gets confusing because if you understand the physiology of it,
Yes, but I mean,
Right.
a male would by nature have more testosterone, right?
yeah, but it also gets confusing because sometimes there's a real thing called testicular feminization syndrome.
Okay.
So when biological males outwardly express as females.
Okay.
Because it all comes from the same thing.
Now you see where the doctor title
Yeah.
comes from.
So that's why it gets
Yeah.
confused. It actually gets confusing.
Okay.
So ultimately, I would say, we trying to figure this out as society, what's fair. And there's two opposing forces. It's like, can the society be more accommodating to those who are different? And the other thing, it must also be fair and not really
Yes, I
affect
got
the
you.
rights of others. Like you're talking about competitions, bathrooms, things that are practical, right?
But you willing to call someone their pronoun if that
If
makes
they
it-
want to,
if they
as
want
a
to.
respect,
Yeah.
irrespective of my personal view on this. It's like the same thing. Like, I mean, when
Like my pronouns are them.
okay,
So, my them.
they,
Yeah.
they, them.
Yeah, they and them.
That's
So it was
challenging.
it was
thing.
actually they.
It's actually.
Ooh, no, them.
Yes, that's not
Oh, no.
maybe not grammatically correct.
Yes.
Like, but me
people
understanding,
say, oh, we.
if the person
Yeah.
feels that, I will, whether I think that is going to last or not, we don't know yet.
You don't know that, yes.
But because
But you've
people
seen
are
but you've
trying
seen the
things
debate-
out.
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen the debates.
Yes.
And the debates are like out there, like it's a male dichotomy, female dichotomy. Do you believe in this? What do you have? A penis or a
ultimately,
vagina? What do
ultimately,
you know
you
what I
go,
mean?
you go like, if you are doing those things for self-worship,
Yes.
then it becomes a problem.
Okay.
Like for us, Islamically, you can't put your. See, I'm getting to be like I'm giving
Yes. Dawah is fine.
Dawah, and
Give
I'm
it what is-
giving a khutbah here.
That's fine.
No, you can never, like even us as Muslims,
Hmm?
our sexuality can never be. We can't worship sexuality.
Yes.
So that can never be. We have to control our nafs, our animal self.
Yes.
And that's taught because your animal self can make you do more me things.
Yes.
Right. And then we also a higher
The
being
spiritual self, yeah.
that can connect to
Yes.
that which is greater. Right. So we both, so we can never worship sexuality. And anybody who ascribes to the religion of Islam must go, even though it feels lekker, all of these things are the most amazing things.
Yes.
We all know we were built to procreate, right?
Yes.
But that you must recognize the dangers in that and must be kept in check.
Okay.
And that's for also the sort of the greater good.
The greater good. No, I got
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
I got
So
you.
it's a complicated answer, and I won't say I'm saying clearly. I won't say I know or I don't know. I just say there are two moves, like society being compassionate to those who are different, and at the same time having rules that are fair and also don't impact on people's
Have you made,
lives.
have you made any jokes that have offended anyone in let's
All the
say-
time.
All the time, yeah. Because I know Dave Chappelle wanted to cancel that, man.
Yes,
You know
but
what I
my jokes I don't do shock humor a lot.
Okay.
So what I will do, so some comedians do shock humor. So the jokes are supposed to, the funniness comes from saying the wrong thing.
But by
Right.
nature, all comedians
No,
always
everybody
in the line,
doesn't.
in the line of being
No, you-
potentially
no.
offending someone.
Yes, you are, because
Okay.
everybody's the butt of a joke.
Yes.
This is the thing. But I mean, that's why we tend to laugh at ourselves, right? But shock humor comes from saying the wrong thing.
Okay.
And you laugh at it because you know the right thing.
Yes,
You understand?
I got it, I got
So there's
it, I
certain comedians that play with shock humor. And then there are other comedians that play with relatability. So I play a little bit more with relatability.
Okay, so you don't need the shock on.
It's not I don't. It's just if I do, I step over and I step back. Like even if you talk about me and Joey Razdin, right? So me as being sort of the first South African Muslim comic, because I came out there and performing predominantly to Muslim conservative audiences, family audiences, I have to be cognizant of the fact that there are kids in the audience and grandparents
Yes.
and so on. So I need to make them laugh, number one.
You have to
Make them laugh. So how do I make them laugh? If I'm going to say something rude or naughty, I have to, and then step
So
back.
okay. Now then my following question to that is, what would your rawest humor be then? Like without having to worry about what the people say, like at home, like what do you find funny as opposed to what you have to say, man? Like you know what I mean? Like you saying like these are my conservative Muslims, these are kids, you know.
Yes.
I can't go over this, but do you personally find other stuff funnier than that?
Like there's,
Or do you feel vicariously
like for
throughout-
example, you go, there's a true story that happened to me when I was many years ago in New York, right? That I can't really make part of my stand-up, right? Like because it's based on experience that I had where a guy said something rough to me,
Okay.
right? So we were walking down 110th Street. You know, I think it was about 2 o'clock in the morning. Me and my brother, we were deep in conversation, 2 a.m. And in front of us, there was this group of youngsters drinking, dancing, listening to music, right? You know, and like homies.
Was it like a while ago?
Yeah, long time ago, right? And when we noticed them, we were kind of too close to cross the street because then it would have looked like we were scared.
Yes.
But we were scared.
Okay.
So anyways, we walked straight through them. And as we walked through, one of the guys pulled me back by my shoulder and went, yo, you have to beep this out. This is my friend. We can swear on this, no?
Yeah, you can say whatever.
Say, my friend wants to fuck you up your ass. Right?
What?
So in my mind, I'm like,
Yes?
you know, right? But on the outside, no reaction, you know, right? So, like I do a whole routine about this that I can only usually do in a comedy club.
Okay.
But this type of thing can't really be part of my.
Yes. So, okay, but that explains what I was trying to ask you.
Yes, so it's like because it's a true thing, but just because what I'm dealing with is like,
Listen, but now we're getting back to the story. How did you get out of that?
oh yeah, say well, my friend wants to fuck you up, yeah. And so in my mind, I'm like, yeah, you know, and then what eventually happened is
Yes.
like we just walked past them and they threw bottles at us and all of that
so
type
now
of
you
thing.
was
It
just
broke,
you.
yeah, I couldn't do any of that, you know. But that is part of
Yes.
the routine that I do, you know.
Look, last couple of questions before you fly, because this actually went much longer than I expected.
Yeah,
But I
custom.
feel like
Sorry,
we could,
Marv.
I feel like we could go much longer.
Yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah.
Is anything you
Inshallah
want to
again.
personally say here before we go?
No, it's been like a chatting and maybe must do it again. You
Nah,
come
we
on
have
my
to-
podcast
I'm
one
ready
day.
for it. Would you rather have a pause button or a rewind button in your life?
No, I think pause.
Pause.
Yeah. Like I
enjoy
mean,
moments that you longer.
I'm inclined to say rewind, but then because you think you have regrets, but then sometimes all the negative things or certain mistakes that
Yeah.
you make sends you in the right direction. So I will stick on pause where you can just go, okay,
Okay.
just let me give me a break, but I just
Now I want you to talk about like all the sins that you've done in your life and like how many, because we know we had this conversation before the time. How you basically want you to like explore all the sins that you've done and tell people like all the debauchery that you get into.
me.
Thank you so much for coming, guys. This is the PSA podcast with Mr. Maya. Thank you so much, Riaad Moosa. I loved it.
Kwai, bro. Thank
Until
you
next
very
time.
much.
Ciao.